Today's video is going to be a bit more commentary focused. Today, I kind of wanted to get into what I like to call the scary Minecraft trend, or the cave dweller, or the evolved cave dweller and whatnot, and all those types of mods. And you know what I'm talking about when I say that you've seen a Herobrine mod, you've seen From the Fog, you've probably seen the cave dweller because that video absolutely blew up. And granted, I think that the quick cave dweller as an idea is a great idea, but I think in many ways, at least for me, the concept of making Minecraft scary kind of falls flat on its face when it's done wrong. Because from the fog, I know that the creator of From the Fog, or at least like one of them, had stated that it was more of a project that was designed to bring you back to old time Minecraft, where the scariest thing was Herobrine. But what was attempted with the Cave Dweller was to make something alien, to make something foreign, to make something that you felt watched, and like so that you weren't alone in the world. And I feel like that works, but as with any like horror game, like horror like concept, it really gets old, especially when like, oh, it's buggy, or like it keeps happening. It's very familiar to you, like you're used to it. And that's kind of what I wanted to get into with this really short video. And that is that Minecraft shouldn't be made scary, because in many ways it already gives you the tools to do so, because it very much already is. And, some people might disagree with me and say, but I know a lot of people would say that single player has a very eerie tone to it, because as far as you are alone, and, no one else is there with you. But I feel like a good horror mod would play into the fact that the player knows that they feel alone, but a good mod to me is a mod that sporadically and randomly, but also not too commonly, shows the player that there might be evidence that they are not alone. And let me explain why I think that's a superior approach here, because what I believe is that to make Minecraft truly terrifying, you must not make you make the player believe that they are, well, you must not make the player know they're not alone. You must make them question whether or not they're alone. And to kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about, and what I mean when I say that something scary should always interact with the player that isn't a direct encounter. And let's use an example here. The Distant Friends mod, which, mind you, is very simple, because the Distant Friends mod isn't like complicated at all, because what it does is it adds these, these player models, like these, mob like beings that act like players. They crouch, spam, and they punch the air. And that to me, and when you walk close to the entity, it disappears without a trace. And that to me is like a really a step in the right direction, because it sparks your curiosity. It's something familiar that you know about, and that you are, you're close to, but it's something that also is foreign to you because you are playing in single player. And then when you try to investigate it, it disappears. You can never truly investigate it. But again, that still suffers from the problem of you get used to it. You are desensitized to these entities. And what I think is that, and there's got obviously programming constraints and whatnot, obviously, but I think a really good way to make Minecraft scary, and this would be a nightmare to implement probably, but From the Fog actually did one of these things, and I think it's brilliant. I believe that Herobrine in the From the Fog mod that adds Herobrine has the chance to dig next to the player when they're strip mining, and that to me is very nice. And I think like I can speak for a lot of people when I say that. Imagine you're coming home from like a small tunnel of mining, and then you see one next to yours, but you know that you didn't make that, or maybe you did. Then you start doubting yourself. But I've always like thought of like a mob that would find maybe like a chest that is a certain amount of blocks away from the player, and like open it very briefly, or I think in many ways a more superior approach to the scary Minecraft dilemma is to have something really rare and really like plausibly done by the player. So like, items move around like one slot in a chest. So like the mob, like an invisible entity, let's say, like an entity that only acts as like a source of noises or interactions, would drop blocks behind the player that they recently used that are like junk blocks, like cobblestone or dirt, like maybe the nerd polling, breaking blocks, like making support for a building, and like it just drops like an occasional block that the player knows they didn't drop, but they could have. And that again brings them into question, like, am I alone? Am I just tripping? Small things like that, or like delayed footsteps behind the player that only play for a short amount of time. Things that aren't obvious and things that are very easy to miss is what I think can truly encapsulate the horror aspect of Minecraft, because many times I will also reference another principle that, or like a concept that I have mentioned in my friend circles before. I feel like a mod that really capitalizes on minus paranoia would be really good for the scary Minecraft scene. Mostly because, and what I describe as minus paranoia, is the act of seeing player name tags through walls when you know there are none. When there are presumably none around, and when you're playing single player. And I feel like a mod that adds that and like really faint player name tags through the walls that disappear, and when the player looks in their general direction, they vanish. I think that in many ways would revolutionize, well, not revolutionize, but definitely it's a direction that I'd love to see scary Minecraft mods go, because I've seen like this forced attempt with all the cave dweller mods and all the scary mob mods to just kind of force the horror into Minecraft. I feel like that's the wrong approach. Many people do share the vision or the idea that single player is terrifying, and that there is already some horror aspect to being alone in a world where that technically doesn't even need you to really function, because there's been multiple like types of videos on how the Minecraft world can just exist on without you as long as it wants, technically, with a powerful enough computer. I feel that's kind of just my 2 cents on the whole Minecraft is scary debate, or like trend that's been going on YouTube. And I feel like this is also a type of video that I'd want to make in the future. I'm not gonna make it too cluttery or too edited, so if you'd like more content like this, be sure to hit that like button and maybe subscribe as well. Hit that bell notification icon. You can always turn it off later. Suggest something down below for me to talk about, and I'll be sure to respond and think about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!